And I tell the kids now, hey, I'm gonna make this look really easy. It's not. You're gonna struggle, but watch it. This is the angle I want you to do it, and I'm gonna put that screw in right there. Now you gotta do 3 more corners. It takes them 10 minutes. It takes me 10 seconds. They make mistakes all the time. I'm proud of their mistakes because they're trying stuff.
Same applies across the board. Find a place, dedicate yourself a little bit, put a little bit of effort on it to make yourself better. As long as you're not willing to settle at the same place and just be like, this is all I'm gonna do, opportunities are just endless. Let's start off with who you are, what you do, and how we got here.
So my name is Scott Wickland. I'm a teacher at Spring Park High School. And man, it's been a crazy road the last couple of years. I taught social studies at Spring Park for 19 years. And that was great. We have a great department up there. Kids love social studies. I was going to school. I was getting a degree thinking I wanted to be an administrator and be a principal or a superintendent. And the closer I got to that, the more I was like, nah, I just don't want to do it. Like like the kids, the further away you are from the kids, the harder it is to really feel like the work you're doing is valuable, right? So I even got offered a principal job at a local high school, and I turned it down, and I was like, I don't know what's going on for me. And then my principal knew that I was pretty good at building stuff because I had summers off, and I would do construction and landscaping, and I had some good teachers that helped me with that. And then I started kind of making some money in the summers. Mm-hmm. My principal said, hey, we're going to start a construction trades program again, or restart, because we used to have one at our school. He goes, you want to do it? And I said, heck yeah, I want to do it. You bet. So a little scared because I'd never taught, construction, and it's a little different teaching geography than it is teaching kids how to use a nail gun the right way. But here I am. I'm now a licensed construction trades teacher, and I had to go through some training to make sure that happens. And so I'm in my second year now of teaching. We built a house last year with kids, and that was a great endeavor. We just kind of muddled through it and found tools and found partners and built a house, and that house is now moved over to Mounds View to be set in place.
Oh, it's in Mounds View?
It's in Mounds View, yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Where in Mounds View?
It's right off of Osborne and Pleasant View Drive, just south of Spring Lake.
Okay.
So they added a big garage on the front end of it. So the company we're working with on this house was Belpar Homes out of Farmington area.
Okay.
And they paid the moving company to put it over there and get a garage all set up on it, and then they're going to finish it off, hook up all the electrical, finish the basement, and then sell it. So
nice.
It's awesome. So it's only like a mile and a half from the house and
wow.
or from our school, and the kids can check it out and go drive by, and
I know.
It's pretty cool.
That is so amazing because I why did I have it stuck? I don't know if it was when I was talking to you or Jeremy that I thought that they were bringing it somewhere else, that it was going to go somewhere south.
Yeah, they couldn't find. Belpar was having a hard time finding the right size lot up in this area, but Belpar being a Farmington company and Jeremy LeBeau owns a bunch of properties down there, they were just going to we'll just bring it down there and set it up. Well, transportation costs of transporting a house that far is quite a bit. Yeah. So they found a lot and got it going, and it just moved, 3 weeks ago. And
that is awesome.
Yeah,
that
really
is awesome. That is so cool. I wonder where it is, because as you mentioned that, this would be a crazy story on my end, because I think there on that lot, there used to be a home that we were working with the homeowner of demolishing it and rebuilding, and then the deal fell apart real fast because they were not serious on which way they were going to go with it, but it was right kind of as you described it. It was like a red house that was about to be, half of it burned down. Sure. And it was like somehow from, like neighbor's fire that got to it and then started it from the outside and the whole story. But I'm not sure how it, I don't, not to say I wish that was the one, but I'm like, oh my God, I kind of now know where all of that is. I was around that.
Yeah, that's super cool.
So, and we were trying to work with them with an insurance company and everything else. And I think they didn't even know which way they wanted to go with it, So as they stopped responding to us, we just kind of let it go. And I'm pretty sure that somebody just picked it up and, tore it down and let's put another one on there. So that is awesome. So as we've been kind of involved with you a little bit on this, I was so excited just to hear that it's coming back.
Yeah.
And it's been an amazing being involved just a little bit of what we have done with you. I love the fact that it's coming back. I love the fact that it's bringing in kids. I love the fact that, like we talked with everybody here, that there's just such a shortage in construction right now. but there's also such a shortage for young kids to be introduced and how to be introduced into field like this. I have a feeling, and I think as Jeremy and me were talking about it, that everybody thinks that it takes a college to get a decent job and decent degree, and that, you know, it almost like there's no other way than unless you go to college. Whereas all of us, you know, kind of fell into construction, is like there's trades that you can make so much money that's not even funny, but you focus on just, you know, what you do with your hands.
And not even the money, it's good work.
Right.
Too.
Right.
You're providing a great service for people.
Right.
And you're appreciated for that. Like
That's
valuable.
That's exactly right. You know, the reason why I focused on money, and I even mentioned it, is the kids, as you know, the first question that they have is how much money can I make? You know what I mean? So it's like you gotta attract them with something.
Yep, exactly.
You know, but then what happens is, personally experiencing that after a while, you know, you get into and you do what you do, and you're like, oh my God, I can make a little bit of money doing this, you know, and plus it's on my time. I got control of this, I got control of that. But then what happens, like without you even knowing it, you know, is like, oh my God, I am doing something valuable for somebody, and they are paying me for this, and I'm taking pride in this, and this feels like a lot bigger than just, you know, some simple job task or whatever you might be doing out there, you know. And that pride, when you start feeling that, oh, man, it's like an addiction.
And the kids started to feel that too with the house that they built last year.
Yeah.
And so let me explain this. I teach 2 basic classes. The first class is called an Introduction to the Trades class. And I teach them a little bit about sheetrock, about a little electrical, we've tried to get some plumbing in there, but framing for sure, roofing, siding stuff, and they build these little projects like dog houses and bunny hutches and duck houses and little structures that can fit inside of our school. And then we'll sell those products and use that money then to buy more materials for the next round of kids. So it's really fun, and you've come over and done a great job helping us out with that. That's just having the kids, you can see the pride in their eyes if they built this thing.
Oh my God.
It's super fun to see.
It is addicting, you know.
So that class is great. That lasts a trimester. I usually have around 30 kids per trimester. And so I do that class 3 times a year. The house building class is about 20 to 25 kids per hour, and I get them for 2 hours a day.
Oh, okay.
So I have them outside. We built a house last year. This year we're building a garage, and eventually we're going to start another house. And we're outdoors. They're learning how to operate on a job site, how to shovel, keep places safe and clean, and do that. So that's a year-long course. And then once they're done, we had so many kids that were either got summer jobs with local contractors or local businesses working, or they're like, I really like this work, I'm going to go right into the trades. And so they either got signed on with an electrician, or they got signed on with a landscaping crew or whatever, and they're making good money doing good work they learned how to do in my class. Yeah. So it's pretty fun.
That is so amazing. Yeah. That is so amazing. And I've been, every time you mention it and every time we're part of it, I smile for some reason. You know, it's like I felt for a long time, I think I told you this, like, you know, nobody even touched our door or came in that's, you know, like, unless they're like my age and older, you know, and it's like, oh my God, I'm in my 40s, you know, it's like, come on, I need somebody younger, you know, to come into the trades like we did when we were in high school, college, and just, you know, and to see that you're actually teaching them and that they have a possibility, it just makes me smile that it's like, we're not going to have to close doors because we don't have enough, you know, labor. But of course, right now, this is a small step for one district, but how can we replicate this in more, you know? Sure. And how can this be back in, like, you know, I know that you guys took a leap of faith on this with, you know, with your principal and you taking this on, you know, but like, I'm pretty sure, you know, from Blaine High School to entire Anoka Hennepin district, are you guys the only ones that offer this right now? Do you know?
I think there's, last I heard, there was 19 schools in the state of Minnesota that do a house building class.
Okay.
That's it.
19 schools in the entire state.
Yep. And there's schools that'll do projects where they'll build sheds or build, you know, woodworking. Some still have woodworking. Yep. That's great. You're teaching some skills, but then the whole process of building a whole house, which includes electrical and lighting and where to put insulation and roofing, all those pieces don't come together if you're building just a shed. You're getting some great learning, absolutely, but then introducing them to the trades associated with residential house building, that's where some of those classes miss out.
Right. And I feel like, you know, I've been part of, through my time years ago, we did that too. You know, we started, I think, like with building chairs in like 7th grade, and building like 8th grade, we built like a little race car, and I think like, you know, it was a weird little race car with the rubber band, and, you know, like you had to make it, you know, you would literally race, and whoever wins gets an A for the entire, you know.
Yes.
I mean, it was stuff like that we were building, you know.
And
then
that's
as
fun. That's great.
oh my God,
Yeah.
so much fun.
You
know,
learn a ton of skills, and it's good.
what that did for me is it made me realize, as I got further in it, like why attention to detail is important, you know. Because on those things, like whatever you didn't do well enough, and whatever you got sick of sanding, or whatever it is, that piece of wood, you know, then when you painted and then lacquered that piece of, you know, whatever the heck it was, like for the car, for example, I had this one spot that you could see right on top where, like, you know, it just looked like scratches, and I was so irritated by it, you know. So then anything after that I would do is like, okay, I really wanted to, you know, hey, every single, like, even if somebody turns it around, it has to look that good, because, you know, once you finish it, you know, it makes it, you know.
It's a reflection on you.
It is.
It's a reflection on your quality of work.
Right. And at the same time, what it did is like, okay, it just shows like, okay, I did so good on a side where it's visible, but, you know, it's like, you know, this wasn't important, you know, and I'm like, okay, no, everything is important. It has to look good. So that was the part that it did for me. But where you're taking it right now is, you know, here's from just rough framing, you know, when you see it, I would say, I would bet on it that 50% of adults don't even know what the framed house looked like. You know, or if you would ask them to even, like, you know, just kids and adults have that, let alone the typical person who right now is completely disconnected from reality of construction, let alone anything else. What you do is you bring them an entire picture of it. Is like, okay, here's how we start. For example, from the foundation, you guys had, I love that it was the cinder blocks, and it's like, imagine how this is going to now look in the ground, but you know, from here we're building it up. Here's our floor. Here's our walls.
It's got to be square. It's got to be level. It's got to be plumb.
Exactly.
All that is huge vocabulary for kids.
Right.
I've never heard those words before. Some of them.
Right.
So
Exactly.
what is a stud? What's a header? What's a top plate? Sill plate? Like all those things. I have to teach those things because they just aren't unaware of them.
Right.
But then once they get aware of those, you watch the pride in their eyes when I go, hey, what's this? Oh, that's a cripple. I know that's a cripple. You know. Yeah. And that's a jack stud or a trimmer, you know, and it's just fun to see that they can identify things. And I've actually had kids come to me and they're mad at me because their vision of seeing construction is different. They're like, Scott, kids call me Scott, right?
Yeah.
Because you never call your boss Mr. Wickland.
Right.
So they call me Scott, and they go, Scott, I was looking at this garage build behind my house, and I was looking at their studs and how they had things aligned, and she goes, I never would have thought of that unless it was your class. So thanks for making me really critical of construction trades. And I'm like, I just won. Yes. I just won right there. That girl's got an eye for seeing things differently that she didn't have before this class.
Right. And I mean, a lot of people, like whatever they see when it comes to construction, they wouldn't be able to point it out to save their life, you know? So I thank you for that. You know, this is
It's not just me, though. I mean,
it is like, here's the thing. I mean, I sit here and I talk about it, and I talk about it to everybody, and I try to, like, but you're the actually one doing it. So to me, you're a hero. You're doing great things out there.
Oh, well, I appreciate
it. I truly appreciate you and what you're doing. And it takes somebody like you to get it going, but then it takes a lot more of us to help whichever way we can to keep it going and add to it. You know, because at the end of the day, you can't be teaching, looking for materials, hunting down who's going to come to class and help out in certain ways. So, you know, I'm glad that we could be in any way, shape, or form, you know.
Well, SMC has been awesome. I mean, you guys have brought us materials. You've talked to our kids. You taught me a bunch of things. Like when you came in and talked about painting. You remember that last year?
I do.
Yeah, you came in and you looked at how the kids painted and you gave them some tips on how to make a finer finish on a paint. And I was just telling a kid about that the other day. I said, hey, before you do that roller, put some blue tape around that and pull off all the fubbies that are on there, right? It'll be a better finish. And they're like, what a great idea. Never would have thought of that. And that came from you. So some of those tricks that like I can bring to kids so that maybe 10 years from now, when they have their own home, they do it. Even if they don't get into the trades, they just know, hey, I'm going to paint this wall myself. I know how to do it.
Right.
You know, and then they can take some pride in the workmanship that they have in their own house.
Of course. And I feel like right now, especially in this day and age of instant everything is getting like fast deliver, instant gratification, satisfaction of everything. Other than in construction, there's none of that right now, And there's not enough people that even know how to do their own stuff, So there's apps for, everybody to hire everybody. But it's like once you show a kid how to do something simple, so they're brave enough that they succeed in one thing, I'm hoping that that's gonna kind of go further and not stop them from, I'm gonna mess this up. I'm gonna give it a shot. And, hopefully it's going to work out. If it doesn't, well, then I can maybe do something else later or ask somebody who knows,
Yeah, right.
So
right.
that's the part that like you're bringing so much to these kids, I feel like, and as the quote goes, like, feed a man fish or give a man a fish, you feed him for a day, teach him how to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. That's what you're doing.
Well, and I got to give credit to other people too, because one, our school used to have this great program. We built something 12 to 15 houses in the community out here.
Really?
Names like Mark Voigt was a shop teacher, and he built homes. He had construction trades. And then before him was Mr. Wall. And I don't even know his first name, but I've met people that have come by and say, I love that you're teaching this class again. I had Mr. Wall in the 80s. And they'll come and say hi to me, and then they want to talk to my kids about how much construction trades help them out,
That's so awesome.
And then we made one of the best hires, I think, since they hired me. I like to say the best hire at Springley Park since me was Eric Van Brocklen, who helped bring this program into existence. And then for our leadership at the district, like right up to our superintendent to say, well, let's go with it.
Yep.
And then I think Jeff Ronenberg, our superintendent, was absolutely surprised at the amount of support the community gave to this.
Right.
Like, so many people came and said, man, it's great this is going again. Like, this never should have left.
Yeah.
We're so glad that this is here and we can see it. It's outside in the parking lot, right? Like, we can see kids working and people are honking their horns and waving at us as we're driving by. People are stopping, going, what can we give you? I mean, people are bringing bags of shingles and saying, could you use these? Oh, yeah, absolutely we could, So, and you did that. You brought us a bunch of shingles too, and, and we used those up on those little projects.
I felt so bad, like, as I'm driving by and I see you, I'm like, should I honk? Should I not honk? Should I honk? Should I not honk? Should I honk? I'm like, I'm interrupting a class, so then,
oh, man, you honk. Anytime the community can support the kids and they all draw their attention and I go, hey, that guy right there, he's done this for us. Awesome. Absolutely awesome.
It's like, honk. Whenever I see you, it's like a couple of times I did it and then I'm like, you should not do that. That's disrespectful to the class. But I want to say hi, but like, it's like, so what do I do? So that's...
Go ahead and honk. It's great. Yeah. Because the kids love it because they're like, look at us. We're popular. People know us. People know what we're doing and value it,
Yes.
So it's been fun because I think, like I said, our superintendent was pretty surprised at how many people were, like one of the people in charge of our social media manager, right, that puts out all of our information. She's like, Scott, you might be the second most popular person in our whole district right now.
Wow.
Behind our Panther. Like the Panther mascot.
The Panther is the mascot. So you're like,
and I'm number 2. Because
right.
anytime they post something about something we've done, they get more hits on that one and more good comments. And it's not me, it's the kids in the program and Eric and, letting us do this and our principal. Since I'm the teacher, it's like I'm the face of the program. So
that is awesome. So what if we put a page for that? Like, would they do it? Would they?
Yeah, well, They give updates all the time. Now, I don't know where those updates go to. It might just be to parents of kids in the district. But they, like when the house left, they had a big update. The house is gone and it's moving to this place. And so they'll do that.
Yeah, I get some updates, and I don't even know how I got them, but I don't even know because I know I didn't get anything from you guys, and I wouldn't get anything from you guys. But then I think after our visit, I started getting some updates, and then I filled out some questionnaire, I think, and I went through whatever I could find on social media that I can follow for you guys, I did. And then I would get some updates here and there that they'll be doing. But I was wondering, like, if you guys just had like a social media site for the shop. Or no? Okay. Nope. Yeah, that would be too much.
Other than Facebook Marketplace, when we sell our products in there. But that's just my personal Facebook account, and
you just kind of sell
just
it off
throw
of
them
that.
on there, and then people will buy it, and I put that money into our school account. So.
Oh my God. So let's see. I wanted to ask you a few questions. We kind of covered on a few different things here, but for example, for partnerships, let's say. I know that we came to you guys on a few things and we just did, I mean, in my eyes and everything else, it's just little, but how else can we bring some more awareness to this and bring people like us to you and bring you what you need? What is the most common thing that you're getting having a hard time maybe getting your hands on right now, and that you would maybe spend most of your guys' resources on?
I guess basic construction materials. I mean, you think about the materials we use in our classroom, it's 2x4s and 2x3s. We typically use a lot of 2x3s to take up a little less space. And those, we use those like crazy. Okay. But then once we do the first batch, then we'll sell all those off, and then we'll buy more with that money. If I can say this the right way, I'm not an expert in construction by any means. I'm kind of self-taught, and then the stuff that I've struggled with, I make phone calls to people to come and help. Belpar Homes has done a great job of sending up their insulator for a day to talk to the kids and show us how to insulate. Insulation, in my opinion, before I had this guy come up, it's not super hard to do, but to do it well, man, he taught us so many tricks of how to do it really well. And that's where I'm a social study. You talk about social studies. I've done that for 19 years, but construction, teaching professional construction, I'm a rookie, right? And so you coming in and saying, this is what we're looking for in this arena. One, it makes me better because I'm learning, okay, I'm going to teach that better next year. Right. And then two, any company coming in and sharing their expertise with kids, as much as the kids enjoy my class, they get tired of me. Right.
Right.
Yeah. They want to have.
They see you every day, and it's like,
Yep.
They know kind of what to expect.
Exactly. So somebody else comes in and explains something or a trick or teaches them a skill, that's invaluable.
Okay. So maybe as much as it's important, like the actual material is, the people who would willing to dedicate a couple of hours of their time is even better for you.
It's incredibly invaluable. It's just invaluable because the kids not only see somebody who is an expert, because I can do siding, the vinyl siding, I've done it before, but I'm not a pro. Right. But having a guy come in there that knows how to do it, and you watch, you're like, oh, wow, that dude's got some skills, right? And teaching the kids, and this is where I've really started to focus on this year, is teaching them to watch. Teaching them to analyze, why is he doing that, and then ask questions if they're open to that.
Right.
Because some kids won't even know what they're looking at.
Right.
And maybe not even concentrate on it, and then they're missing that amazing learning they could have on, he just did that trick. Show me how to do that. And that's where I've kind of grown up, show me that again. I want to see that so that I can do it for my own house, for my next little side project, whatever.
Right.
So that's what's really cool about professionals coming in.
Well, that's awesome. So we'll definitely then try to reach out to more of our trade partners and everybody else to be like, hey, this is what we're part of. Can you join us and, help out and just, come with us to talk to kids about, getting them into construction and teaching them about what you do. I have a feeling that most of us who care about what we do are passionate enough and talk your ear off about it. It's like, how do you get them to shut up, is the key, and I feel like with the right people to, get them to come out to us and talk to kids and feel like, same like I did, is like, man, this might be something that you might do something or say something that one of the kids might literally make a decision that this is maybe what I want to do, or I want to focus in this direction for my career, or whatever the paths, they choose. They might be like, at least I'll give it a shot maybe and see if I can see myself in it or not,
Just give it a shot.
Exactly.
My class is a class full of failures. I mean, they make mistakes all the time. I'm proud of their mistakes because they're trying stuff. Right. And who cares? They shot a nail wrong, or this is off center or something. Let's fix it. Now, how do we fix it, right? So I don't ever get mad at kids for screwing stuff up, because do it now.
Yes.
And make those mistakes and get that critical eye so you can not make them again in the future.
When I hire new people and I bring them in and, and we start talking about it, and, there's certain people, that are like, oh yeah, I don't like making mistakes. I don't like doing. I'm like, if it's something that you haven't done before, make mistakes. Make mistakes, because mistakes are opportunities to craft your skill, and if you focus on doing something perfect all the time, I feel like you're not growing. Yeah. All you're doing is like putting that energy into perfection of something that maybe doesn't need to be perfect. Yeah. But you're missing a big picture of what that could be, just because you're focusing so hard on, how to align something, 100%. Now, I'm not saying don't be crazy about some things and
Be good. Be good at what you do.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
We are getting paid to do this, There's some kind of a standard I need you to have, but at the same time, if you're not making mistakes and if you're not figuring out how to solve them, the thing about this is in construction, there's so many mistakes all the time, and you make them. There's pros that make them every day, but you know what makes those pros even better? Is like they know how to fix that mistake without skipping a beat, and they're already 3 steps ahead of it. And it's like, oh, I just, slipped my mind or whatever it is. I don't know what I was thinking. I did this wrong, but like I'll use this on that and I'll, redo it again.
We'll adjust this. It's the now what that I'm trying to get kids like, okay, you made a mistake. Now what?
Yeah. Exactly.
What do we do to fix it? And then that's where a lot of kids struggle because our education system, you fail a test, a lot of kids are like, well, I failed it, I didn't do very good. No, it's the now what? What do? You didn't learn the content, let's fix it, So in this class, like you crack a board and it goes splintering off.
Of course.
Okay, how do we fix that?
Yep.
Not a big deal, let's just fix it.
Exactly. And this is one thing that I would say, especially for kids that have been through this entire not just Spring Lake Park, but every school system is like you mentioned, it's a pass or fail in a way, where, I don't know, maybe artwork, is forgiving a little bit, where it's like, you can say that you meant to do it that way and it's, whatever, and you can get away with it. But anything else, it's like, it's either pass or fail other than, when you get to that. Construction, music, you can hear when you're off a key, whatever else, but artwork is one of those things that it's like drawing or coloring. This is my spin on it. Yeah.
Well, I'll say this thing too. I never would have thought this would have come out of this class. What I found is you, as a professional, somebody who does this all the time, could come and teach something to our class, try it, have the kids try it, and quickly you would realize how good you are at building this product.
Right.
Because seeing a novice do it, you're like, wow, I'm pretty talented at this.
Right.
Because I've like, let's say we were attaching some truss to little structures, and I was toenailing a screw in. And I tell the kids now, hey, I'm gonna make this look really easy. It's not. You're gonna struggle. But watch, this is the angle I want you to do it, and I'm gonna put that screw in right there. Right. Now you gotta do 3 more corners. It takes them 10 minutes. Oh, yeah. It takes me 10 seconds, right? But I'm trying to encourage them, like, you're not gonna be good at this. But what's encouraged me is, oh man, I actually have some skills, And I think if a sider came in, a roofer came in, a plumber, an electrician, and just taught the kids how to do something and then had them do it, they would be like, I don't know what the word is, but they would be, I think, excited about, wow, I've really come a long way, because you forget about it. You're just a professional. You go out and do it, you do it, right?
In this, when people do the same thing over and over every day, repetition of it turns it to second nature. Yeah. Second nature turns it into something that it's just like, man, that looks easy until you start doing it, and then you're like, why is this hard, and that's what a lot of people, are like, oh my God, when you watch a professional, he makes it look easy because he's been doing it so long. And that's what I try to tell my kids, like I have my younger one, whatever she does, she thinks that she's going to be perfect at it, professional at it at the first try. And then I'm like, baby, do you realize how long it's going to take till you get at least decent at it, let alone anything else? That was my struggle with teaching her. I'm like, it's okay to fail. You will fail many times. Failure is great because it's an opportunity to learn, and you learn from your failures and da-da-da-da-da. And, but it's like, again, I have a feeling everything in our society right now is pushing for, instant success, overnight at everything that you do, and nobody sees the hard work being put into it. This does, in construction, what I've seen is some stuff that you're not a professional at and you're attempting it. It's a humbling experience. It will real quick kind of put you in your spot, and then it's like you need to realize that some of us guys have a tendency not to accept that, have a little ego, and I try to tell them, your ego is not your amigo. You gotta let that go and be open to it. And when you're open to it, you are at that point in time, when I talk to some of them and I'm trying to, show them some things or tell them some things and whatever, I say, listen, this is how I do it. That doesn't mean it's right. That doesn't mean it's this is how I do it. I'm trying to explain it to you in the best, simplest way that I found that works for me. I don't care how you do it. You find your way. But here's my way, and then you can take it however you want to take it. But then I hear, like, as I'm trying to speak, I hear a comeback right away. I said, you're not listening. You're not even listening to me. What you heard is me criticize you a bit, and you're coming back with a comeback of, it's too humid outside for me to do this right. No, it's not. You can be doing this, it doesn't matter what it is. Like, you're making stuff up. But, like, I'm not taking anything away from your capabilities of doing something. All I wanted to say, it could be a little better if you did this maybe a little differently, you know? So that's the part too that, like, you know, young or old, I feel like when it comes to that, it's hard to accept, but construction is one place where, like, you know, it's an instant, you know, or you don't know.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's the culture I've tried to create with these kids is it's okay to ask for help.
Yes.
You know, especially like if you got a culture where I need some help with this. Can I get a second set of eyes?
Right.
You're going to have a better product for your client.
Oh
right?
my God, yes.
And with kids, I feel like there's this mindset of it's a weakness to ask for help. It's not. It's a strength to ask for help.
I agree with you, but I feel like as an entire society, we're like that. You know, like young, old, everything. Like when you ask for help, like I don't know where the heck that comes from, but it's almost like you're giving something up because you just asked for some assistance. And
If I ask you for help, you're honored.
yeah, exactly.
You know? And you and I are in better relationship now because you've helped me out. And
Right.
You ask me for help later, I'm game on. I'm going to help you out.
Exactly.
It creates a good community of people. And I think that's true of our society. We don't have, and I'm a social studies teacher, so I can go on about this forever. But I think the true community is where you have people that step in for others.
Exactly.
You spin and help. You know, if my neighbor's got a piece of siding that's falling off and might not even know it,
Yep.
hey, you got a piece of siding, I know how to fix that. Can I help you out? No problem, right?
Exactly. Jump on and do it right away. What else? Is there anything else that you would want to bring in? We had kind of like the 4 questions or 4 things to talk about, but I have a feeling we kind of touched about a little bit on both of them. Would you want to go in depth on anything else?
So Spring Lake Park is all in on construction. We're going to do the construction trades. We can't do everything well.
Right.
We can't do manufacturing, welding, we don't have the facilities for, but we're partnering with other schools and they're becoming a hub for manufacturing. Like Centennial is doing welding, right? And Irondale is doing welding and small engines, right? So we can kind of partner. And so I have 4 kids from Centennial that come to Spring Lake Park because they're like, well, we want to do construction. Well, go to Spring Lake Park. And so our hub, we're going to really go all in on construction like we are. I'm already, students have enrolled too much for my classes. We need another one of me at my school because they're so popular already.
Wow.
Yeah, and if we tried to do manufacturing, tried to do welding, tried to do small engines, we don't have the capacity for it. We don't have the space. So we're going to let other schools do that, and construction is our game. That's going to be our game.
Are you guys open to another you in a class? And is that demand that high that you guys would want to pursue that even further?
I think so. I mean, right now my class, I'm at capacity. I could teach probably another 2 courses, which is a part-time teacher, right? But the problem is there's nobody like me. There's not many people out there. I shouldn't say there's nobody. There's not many people out there that know the teaching profession and also have knowledge of construction.
Right.
Right? Because you have to be licensed to teach, and you have to know. You can't teach what you don't know.
Right.
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 So that's where Van Brocklin always says we kind of hit a gold mine with you, Scott, because you knew enough to teach it, and you know pedagogy, which is how to teach. Right. So that's the hard part. Is yes, we'd love to expand, we'd love to add a little bit, but where do we find that human?
Right.
Where do we get that human?
Especially now, my God, you know.
I mean, because the people that know how to do the work,
Yep.
they're doing the work.
Right.
And the teachers that have the degree, which there's not a lot of degrees in construction trades, right? So there's just not a lot of people available.
I'm happy that you're in that spot for the growth of it, you know, and that there's that many kids who are in there and that it's got that kind of popularity. And now I'm like, okay, I feel bad. Like I wish there's more, you know, people like you teaching it so more kids can be exposed to it, you know. But that's all, as in, you know, I guess being so new, you know, and just kind of, you know, you're breaking ground with all of this and trying to, you know, find yourself in it with everything else that you're doing in here and try to build this up from ground. It's just work in itself, full-time job that, you know, let alone teaching, you know.
Yeah.
So I feel for you for sure when it comes to that. And oh my God, if I find anybody that's a teacher and knows even how to operate a saw, I'm gonna be like, dude, I have something for you, you know?
Well, in other school districts, I feel like if there could be more of this in other school districts, it's kind of a scary thing. A lot of administrators just don't have any experience in construction themselves.
Right.
They know about the sciences and the maths because they all went through high school and college and got their degrees. Right. But to say construction, like it just is foreign to a lot of administrators. And so kudos to our administrators saying, hey, we have a need for this. Let's run with it, even though I can't lead it, like I don't know all the ins and outs of construction. That's why they hired Eric. That's why they hired me in this position. And so being brave and just saying, hey, the community's going to support this. I mean, they really are. I mean, I call everybody I call who's in the trades are like, oh, I'm so glad you're doing this. This is so cool. How can we help? What do you need? And we're building a garage right now to keep warm and to house our tools outside. And we've had companies donate stuff and build the walls for free for us and just doing all this stuff so that our kids can be in that place and have a home base. Yep. So I would just say administrators and principals of different schools, if you're looking to start a program, trust that there's support out there for it. And it might come from places you're not even aware of,
right.
Right. And so maybe even feeling that out a little bit before, but just know our Spring Lake Park community is kind of a blue collar community.
Right.
They knew this program existed, so to see it come back is just, it was surprising to our district office at how supportive people are of it.
Right.
And the growth.
Of course. I think like Jeremy got me onto the program and you.
Yeah, I don't even remember how we first met.
He mentioned something, and as he mentioned something to me, like a week later, you came through the door and you're like, "Hey, listen, here's who I am.
I
here's
barged
what
in
I
the
do."
door, didn't I?
No,
Yeah,
it was perfect timing. It was perfect timing. I'm like, I know of you. I know what you're doing. 100%. We're in. We'll support in any way that we can.
Yeah, I find knocking on people's doors and meeting them face to face is invaluable.
Oh my God, yes, I agree. I agree with you, and I feel like even that in our community is kind of like something that's dying. If you shot me an email, I'll probably whatever it is, put it in spam, because there's just so much. You know?
You get so much stuff.
And that 15 minutes, whatever we talked about here, it was like perfect. Where it's like, okay, we'll help in any way, shape, or form that we can. I'm so glad you're doing it. I heard a little bit about it. I'm so happy. I saw the house and everything else, and then
it seems like anytime I call you for something, your answer is always yes. Like, how can we do it?
Oh, for sure.
It's just, you kind of have, Jeremy Flatten at Jericho, he's come and helped, and like he came today and we were teaching kids how to hang sheetrock.
Right.
Talk about not having enough eyes. The kids just didn't know how to do it, So I got kids with screw guns and they're messing things up, putting holes where they shouldn't be. Well, Jeremy's there helping out. Like he's instructing too, and super helpful to have them there. So it's like you and Jericho Construction are kind of my go-to. Like, hey, I need a hand. Can you point me in the right direction or come on over?
Anything, everything, whenever, just so you know, doors always open. I'm always there, however I can. I would gladly help. So now to bring more people to you, and so we can do this and as a community, we were kind of talking about a few other construction companies that are around here that you reached out, I reached out to. Other than time, other than, somebody might have time, somebody might have money, somebody might have, God knows what that they can donate. What other ways can people be involved to help out the program?
Well, basically any building materials. The problem we have is we don't have a ton of storage. So we've had people donate some things and we're trying to find places to put it. Now, what I'm trying to get done now, if communities out there want to support us as much as they can, or companies out there, we got to have a place to store stuff until we use it. So windows is an example. Like, we have a couple windows we got for free. Where do we put them until we use them? There's just not a lot of storage in our Spring Lake Park building. So that's one thing is donating building supplies, and just note we'll find a place for them eventually, and then we'll use them. Like we use everything. Like you brought us 4 truckloads of lumber, right? And we used that trim. We put it in our press box. It's all over our school, and then we'll say we need a 2x4, but you got a 2x6. We'll just rip it down and turn it into 2x4, right? Exactly. And the kids see that and go, "Oh, I didn't know you could do that." Right? So
it works.
We'll reuse everything and then sell it and take that money to buy other materials or tools. That's super helpful. The other is just coming in and saying hi to the kids. Like, if I can set up a time with you to come and speak and just talk about your field and make connections with kids, That's awesome. I mean, the kids just, they don't even know what they don't know.
Right, exactly.
Oftentimes.
Yeah.
They don't know.
Yep.
So just come, if you're proud of your profession, come in and talk to the kids about it. We had one guy drop in that was a stucco guy. He goes, I need kids that are decent with cement and aren't afraid of heights. And I said, I got 2. I'll give you their names, and I don't know if they got employed with them or not, but that's helpful for him and it's helpful for our kids.
Exactly.
The other is just to support the trades in general, not just Spring Lake Park, but if you are a contractor that needs labor, needs workers, and you have a field that is beneficial for kids, like beneficial for students, earn good wages, have a good career, like enjoy what you're doing, go to the schools and talk to them and say, how are you preparing these kids to support our trades? Because there's so many jobs available right now, we can't fill them. Right. And so kids coming out of high school with at least a little bit of exposure, whether it's just a small class, a woodworking class, something, how are you as a contractor being supported by our schools? Because we know the colleges are supported by our schools. Right. A lot of people talk about college, and that's great. College is great. It's awesome.
Truly is. Yeah. I say, it's a way to figure out what you want to do and kind of buy time to grow up a little more, and you're going to have a nice bill or you're going to work your butt off while you're doing that, one or the other, but it does... Probably both, but it'll put certain things in perspective and kind of realize that leaving the nest and you being responsible for your own place, whatever that might be, and living out with mom and dad, it's a huge eye-opening of, that you will survive, somehow. Better days and worse days will be there, but regardless of. With this, I feel like, hey, you can almost be that instantly. Like first year in this, you'll earn enough money that you'll be able to move out and find a place of your own, And then whatever else, however you want to do it, you would be able to do it, especially when you keep yourself open to learn new things and are not stuck in your ways that it's like, well, I'm just going to do this forever, whatever that might be, In construction, you have so much movement in any and every direction, Like starting out as just somebody, like we talked about with Jeremy on a few different occasions, he was mentioning is like, all you need to know is how to operate few tools, a saw, speed square, tape measure, and you're set to go. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you at least have a head start on most of the population.
Exactly. And that's one thing that it's like, right now I feel like even with the people that we kind of bring in from different places, they might know some things but not know the others. Yeah. And it's like, well, we'll gladly teach you as long as you want to do it. And you can shift, whichever way you want to. And you're exposed to all of it. And if you see something that it's like, I think I'll be really good in that. Yeah. Hey, we'll introduce you to people, and it's
we'll
like,
get you connected.
Yeah. However, I don't ever want anybody to be like, I want you to work for me until your remaining days. No, it's like if you can grow and love something you do every day, my God, that's the best that you can give to anybody,
For sure. Yep. And the thing that I'm trying to do too with kids is you don't have to swing a hammer to be in the trades.
Right.
You don't have to be out there doing the work in the elements and doing... There's tons of jobs that support the trades too, whether it's scheduling or ordering materials or just communicating with
estimators.
Yeah,
I mean,
and that's invaluable as for a company.
Right. I mean, right now, to tell you the truth, I'm debating the volume that we're pushing, I am struggling keeping up with all the estimates myself and with my business partner. And the team that we have for certain things can handle some of it, but cannot handle all of it. And as soon as it's a little more complex, it's like, ooh, what do we do? And it's like, I'm trying to find time to get it. And it's like, I don't want it to be a week for me to get an estimate out. I want to get it right away if I can. And that okay, maybe we need to bring on an estimator, that just to, free up most of us a little bit. And that's all that they will be doing. And like you said, so many different roles and parts that can be played in construction, from designers, to architects, to, bigger firm employee, all of that, and it's then some. We're tiny compared to some of the big guys out there, but still, we still need all that. We still use all that, So yeah, that's the part to open up the eyes to kids too. That it's like, if you're in construction, it doesn't mean you're just throwing a hammer all day, every day.
Find what you love to do.
Exactly.
And then invest in yourself. Invest in yourself to do it. Find a good company, work for them, learn the skills, learn the trades, learn the pieces that would make you a good employee, and then benefit from it.
Right, exactly. And I have a feeling that like in this, same applies across the board. You know what I mean? Like what you mentioned, find a place, start, dedicate yourself a little bit, put a little bit of effort on it to make yourself better. You can find so many different places where you might be able to do that and able to grow as long as you're willing to learn. As long as you're not willing to settle at the same place and just be like, this is all I'm going to do. Opportunities are just endless. Yeah. So that's amazing. Raju, do you have anything? Is there anything that you would like to ask?
What problem am I solving for the kids? Well, we're giving kids opportunities to try and fail using power tools, using different techniques, using things. So we're giving kids opportunities to be in the trades without being in the trades, if that makes sense. So it's a supportive environment that if they make a mistake, it's not a bottom line. Nobody's losing money on that, right? We're not losing time. We're keeping safe. Safety's by far the most important thing.
Right.
So that I would say is the best thing is just giving kids opportunities to understand what's out there in the trades. The things the kids are figuring out and solving is they're starting to understand the plethora of jobs that are out there and available to them. I'm not doing a good enough job showing them all the pieces. Like there's so many different areas that they could go in. So that's one, if they're interested in a career in the trades. The second part is, can they just maintain their own living space? Right. Do they understand what's behind their walls? Do they know how to fix some plumbing on and just take care of their own space?
Right.
And that
hang a picture for God's sake.
Hang a picture, yes. And know where to find a stud and know where stud layouts would be and if you're gonna tile something, what materials do you need? Right. And just allowing kids to experience it with somebody who can give them some instruction on it, and then let them fail, let them try it, fix some things. And then we have showers, fake showers in the room, right? They're just boxes. We have the kids tile them, right? Tile them up and make your mistakes right now. Right. And then we just rip it all down and throw those tiles away. The tiles were donated from a company. They said, use them, we're never gonna use them. So we'll put thin set down and tile up the walls, and the kids learn how to do spacers and get everything lined up, and then we just tear it down, throw it away. Right, and we got the shower boxes, Yep. And so we keep those every year. We got 4 of them. That problem right there of kid doesn't even know how to start the job. Right. Now they can envision it. They can go, okay, I know what I need. I know what materials I need. I remember from the class, I need to get some thin set. I need to get a trowel. I need to get spacers, and then I can put that on. I put that on the wall. So I love that commercial by, I don't know, I think it's Home Depot, where the guy's he needs more spacers, and he doesn't know what they're called. So he's like running out of spacers. So he's like, I need this, and he uses the phone, he takes a picture of it, and then Home Depot says it's a spacer, you can get it at this place, right?
Yep.
And I'm like,
I didn't see that yet.
You haven't seen that one? Oh. And I'm like, gosh, it's kind of funny. I know all my kids by the end of my class know exactly what that is. They know what that is, but credit to the guy in the commercial, he's tiling his wall, right? I want to see more kids doing their own work.
Exactly. Exactly. No, that's exactly right. I have just a little bit on his side, Raju, to answer that question. What problem does he solve for the kids, and what problems do kids solve? I don't think it's even a problem. I don't think kids even think that they have a problem. But what he's doing is he's presenting them with unlimited amount of opportunities, letting their imagination run wild, supporting their curiosity to explore in whichever way they want to and build something with their hands. And once they build something with their hands, that brings that pride, that brings that oh my God, look what I did, and I cannot wait for next class of, what I'm gonna do with this. That's just kind of what I see from it.
So tomorrow, my first hour, all those little dog houses and chicken coops, I'm having a bunch of teachers and principals come in, and the kids are just going to talk about what they've built. They're going to be excited tomorrow because they get to show off their structure, right? And what's great about that is I don't think they realize how amazing it is that they've built this thing. Right? They just don't understand it yet until somebody who's never done it before comes in and goes, how the heck did you do that? Tell me about this. And then your team is going to come in, and construction, the materials, all that stuff, and you're going to ask different questions about it. You're going to say, how did you get this drip edge aligned nice? What size OSB did you use? You're going to ask those types of questions that are more specific to construction, and these kids are going to get a chance to really prove they know.
Yep.
You know, they know what they know.
Yep.
Teachers are going to come in and ask, "Hey, what are you learning?" Because
Yep.
that's their mindset.
Of
right?
course.
What's being learned here? You know, and they don't know what OSB is. Most of them, they don't know what different LP
It's like,
sidings are.
what did we use? Wood.
Yeah, wood. It's wood, right? It's wood.
Yeah.
Yeah. But and to give some of our teachers credit, they know a little more than maybe they're off to. But to have a professional come in there and say, okay, tell me about your structure. Why is this cedar and not just pine? Well, it's going to be exposed. It's so great you know that cedar has a longer lifespan than pine does, and
When we were there last year, and just asking some questions of the kids, like first, like explain to me what you did and why. And then, first they were a little shy, and then just kind of like, as they got a little more comfortable, I'm like, all it takes is like compliment them on one thing that they did good, and then that confidence just start to snowball, and then
they want to talk more. They gotta say more. Well, look what we did here.
Yep. And then it just kind of goes like, but not only did I do good on this one, but I got to show you another one that you need to know that I did good. And it was so nice to see, and my heart was huge, just having them so excited over, something that I thought it would never be, never see a class again, or be in classes taught these days. So,
well, and what's cool now is I'm teaching the kids even more. I'm saying, how do you make eye contact with somebody who you're talking about? How do you shake their hand well? How do you engage? Pay attention to the nonverbals that they're making, and having the kids practice that so that they can be a better salesperson. So they can go, I notice you're looking at that right there. What are you seeing? Do you have any questions? And they're paying it, and they're shutting their phones off. I said, number one, you got to shut your phone off while you're talking to this person, because if you're if you pull that out and you're distracted by it, you're saying that phone in that moment is more important than you and me in our conversation, and that's demeaning to that person, right? So let's shut our phones off. Have a 5-minute you can check it; it'll be there.
Yep,
right? Check it later.
You'll still check it later.
You bet they will. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's so funny when you say that, because it's like, this has been a crazy year for me too, with my little one and her phone, and she's like on it all the time. And I'm like, I'm waiting in a garage to take her to her dance or theater or whatever I got to take her to. And she's on her phone, gets out, puts her shoes on, and just walks out of the garage. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, and the garage door is open. Why? Like, why didn't you close the door to the house? It's like, oh my God, I forgot. And I'm like, no, you didn't forget. Like, do you see how distracted this is? That like normal thing that you should be doing, like, don't do that, because you're missing out on so much around you when you're so glued to this all the time. As simple as close the darn door.
To say this thing has absolutely, I've learned so much about construction. I mean, Perkins Brothers Builders out of North Carolina, Essential Craftsmen out of Washington, Oregon. I mean, these guys are YouTubers, and they are just so good at putting videos together. They're great. I don't know if you've heard of both those guys.
I have.
Yeah,
I have.
And then R&R Buildings, he does Stumpenhorst, his name, Kyle Stumpenhorst. I mean, I've learned so much. But then, if I'm watching it too much, I'm not doing what I should be doing. So it's good. I'm learning, but I also need to put that thing away and take care of other things.
Exactly. And I feel like, just like anything, it's a tool. It's a tool that helps us in so many. I mean, everybody's like, it's a phone. No, man, this is like your personal computer, camera, radio, TV, something that we thought that we would see just on movies of, like there's, the thing of the future that's still in here. And plus the whole internet is in your fingertips, like just you name it and you can find it and dig it up. It is so much, but yet even that is just a tool to help us get better and help us get information. But if we do too much of this and not enough of this is where like it all kind of falls apart, and it's got to be balanced. It's got to be balanced. And that's the biggest part. Like I literally, believe it or not, as much as all of this is happening, and as a business owner and as everything else, that I try to be on social media, because everybody was like, you're not doing it. You're not doing it. I'm like, I hate it. I don't want to be doing it. And then he kind of like forced me into more places to be than I wanted to be, And then I'm like, okay, I need to do this. But then I put a timer on it. I'm like, I cannot exceed this. Yeah. And as soon as the timer goes off, I'm like, it needs to be put away. I need to do other things, because you just go down a rabbit hole, and you're like, oh my God. You see one 30-second video, or you go to check something else out that you thought you were gonna, and you don't even do that, but you're like completely way over here on
down
something,
somewhere else.
God knows where, that just caught your attention. So yeah, it's crazy. Is there anything else that we didn't touch upon that we should maybe touch upon or mention during this? What about money? If somebody wants to donate money, how do they do that? Do you guys have an account? Do you guys have anything?
We do. We have a way. We've had people do that before. They can do that. We really value personal connection. Like I would hate to have somebody donate money and then not come and talk to us, not come and meet me at least. They might not be comfortable talking to students, but at least come and meet us. And because we want you to know that if you're donating money to our program, that we're going to put it to use. Like it's not just going to sit. You give us like CCC Carpentry, they gave us 2 circular saws. Well, we use those every day. It's not just sitting on a shelf hidden away. We're using them. So we have an account for the construction trades, and then I think last year our program, being that Bellapar paid for the whole house and all the materials, but the stuff that we built in the shop and the stuff that the students built in the parking lot at the end of the year last year, I think our program actually made some money. I think our school didn't know what to do with that. We've never had a program generate income before. So to have this desirable product that we're selling below market value, it's a good buy for everybody else, and it's good for us. Our school district was like, their school district I think they were a little bit like, what do we do? Well, we'll take that money, buy some more basic materials, have the kids dream up what they want to build, and go. I'll tell you this one story. We had a student, 2 of them actually, they were working together. They built a 2-story cat house, and I thought, nobody's going to buy that. Nobody puts their cats outside, and they were going to roof it. And the Doss family, Chase and Heather Doss, came in, and they're a local business too. They resell materials and stuff just right up the road. If you don't know who they are, you got to know. They are the kindest human beings ever. You meet them. Chase and Heather Doss. Yeah, I'll give you they buy stuff and then they resell it at way cheaper prices. So great. They've donated a bunch of stuff to us too. He comes in, he looks at it, he goes, why don't you put carpet on the edges and carpet on the roof? Make it an inside thing for cats. And I was like, that's brilliant. So now cats can claw up the side of it, climb up to the top. It's 2 stories. They can get in. It's sided in carpet, and on the corners, and the roof is carpet. And somebody paid $150 for it, right? God. We put $40 into it, right? In just some basic studs, and then we had some siding material donated, some tongue and groove stuff, that we put on the outside. And it's now, this buyer was so happy that he got this thing because he loves his cats. So stuff like that is like, it's just fun to see, because I'm like, that's never gonna sell, and then it does. And the look of pride of those kids when I see them in the hallway, I'm like, hey, that cat house you built sold for $150. They said, $150? Oh, they just think it's the coolest thing. They're super proud of that they contributed to our program.
Of course. That is amazing. One thing that I want to ask now, from tool standpoint, is there something that you guys need more of? Is there something that you go through, quite a bit? Is there something that we can support in that as well? Something that you guys don't have but would like to have, and would like to have for the kids too.
We don't have any sheetrock screw guns, the ones that spin and don't spin, So, and we're a DeWalt. We got a bunch of DeWalt. We got a connection with a DeWalt guy that's helping us and supporting us. So we have a lot of batteries and stuff, and so we can rotate those out. So that's one thing. We have table saws. We have enough miter saws. But we're going to end up setting up in our new garage out by the house building space. We're going to set up a tabletop workspace, and we're going to put one chop saw in there so that we have a place to measure it. The one thing that we don't have out there is any form of dust collection. It's not real big, I kind of want a smaller shop dust collection thing. So we haven't even broached that yet. And then we don't have anybody partner with to HVAC to keep it warm or cold. Cool it in the summer or in the fall, and so we don't have that quite set up yet. But as far as tools, like we have a good start. We've got some grants on things, but if there are specialty tools that are unique to your trade that most people wouldn't know about, we would love to have those so the kids can see them and experience them. For example, like drywall companies, they have those little drywall lifts, the floor jacks, right? They can lift them up and get them in there. We have a couple of those, but those, I never would have known about those unless somebody showed me those, right? So things that are specific to your trade that a kid would benefit from knowing how to use before they join your trade.
Yep, exactly.
Right?
Yep.
So that and I don't know what that is, because there might be a couple, like we don't have any siding nailers, but we have staplers, but we want to keep siding loose, right? So we don't have any of that stuff that we can teach the kids why we want to keep it loose and have. So we hand nailed it. We hand nailed everything, and which is good too. I mean, that's good skill to learn.
Exactly. I feel like that's a number one skill that should be learned. And then anything power, you don't know if you missed or made it, but right away when you miss it. You can feel it. Yeah.
Well, and one of the things I had the kids do right away at the beginning of the year was they had to pound nails. They had to put in 12, 15 nails a day, and they're little terrible pounds at the beginning. I had them film it too, right? They had to have a buddy film it, and then they're pounding, and it's just, I'm sitting there just going, oh, this is terrible. And 3 weeks later, they're swinging like they should. I mean, it's going in 3 hits, and you can see the pride. I'm like, at the end of the year, then I'm going to have them film, or the end of the trimester, I'm going to have them film it again. And then go back and watch your first video.
Exactly.
And see the growth that you made,
Of course.
Yeah.
And I can just imagine, just trying slowly, tapping it gently to make it look like it's, I don't want to mess up. I don't want to hit myself. I don't want, there's so many things that they're thinking
They don't want
about.
it to go flying around. They're wearing safety glasses. They think it's dangerous.
Yep.
I mean, and then they start to get some pride in it, and they have buddies that come in. Hey, can I show them how I pound a nail?
Yeah.
Darn right you can. Bring your buddy in here.
Exactly.
Throw safety glasses on.
Yep.
But then go ahead and show them.
Exactly. That's awesome. I want to use this, and hopefully that we can send out there to some of our guys too. Like, hey, what is a cool tool that you might be able to, that you use every day, that kids might be finding interest in it and want to use it, and is something that you get excited to use it. How can we bring it to school and show it? And if you have an extra one, or if you have one that is relatively inexpensive, how can we bring it and donate it to the class so they
if you
can
can
have
teach
it,
me how to use it, then I can bring it to 150 kids a year, and that will benefit those kids at least. And then the year after that, another 150.
Exactly.
So
to me, like, the crazy thing that came to mind right away, and I didn't even know it was called this, but in the taping world, banjo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like, that's a banjo, really banjo? Like,
Yeah.
hey, who named that?
Yeah, right.
But
we have one of those, but it's left-handed.
Oh, I see.
So somebody donated it because they didn't like it. It was left-handed. But yeah, like tomorrow, Thursday, we're actually going to have diversified wall systems come in. Tyler Miller is a graduate of Spring Lake Park. I think he graduated in 01. And he's a drywall guy. He's going to show the kids how to mud and tape, and the difference between the muds and the difference between the tapes, right? And so the kids will know what they're buying, because if you use the wrong tape, it's going to peel. It's going to be a problem, right? So, and it's so funny because he'll put this beautiful bead on, and it's just gorgeous. And he's like, "All right, kids, come on up and try it." And they just mess up. But what better class than my class to mess up, right?
Exactly.
So they can practice and get better. And Tyler's right there coaching them, and I am too. And then the next day we pound holes in the wall and we teach them how to patch. And it's great,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That right there is just amazing in itself, man. Just knowing, like you said, when you see the professional do it and you're like, damn, that's perfect. Do you even have to sand that? After it dries, it's like, it looks so good. And then you take it and you're like, of course. But since you don't do it every day,
you just don't know, right? Exactly. And I see Tyler, he's such a great guy. He's always a yes too. But he just cringes. He's like, oh, these walls are going to look so bad. Well, what do I do with that wall? I tear off the sheetrock, I throw it in the dumpster, and we do it again next year.
Exactly. Exactly.
What do we got to lose?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. You don't lose much at all, but you gain so much knowledge from it that kids are going to love it. Thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate you. I appreciate everything that you're doing. I can't wait till we start moving further on what we kind of discussed. I'm so excited about it personally, but I'm so excited to bring other people in so you have more resources, hopefully, to kind of rely on and